CBS 13 News is on your side at 6.
A convicted killer free on bail 25 years later.
Justice on the way.
The one witness who helped put him behind bars for murder.
She was very, very credible, and I believe that was the eyewitness testimony that made it for the state.
And may give him his chance at freedom.
Did you witness a murder down at the pier at the Casco Bay Lines here in Portland, Maine? No, you did not. No.
I just want my life back. I just want all of our lives back.
Just in tonight, a moment nearly 3 decades in the making. Video of Anthony Sanborn Jr. being released from jail.
Right now, Sanborn is out on bail as this continues to develop tonight. We do have team coverage covering all of the angles of this historic court ruling.
We start with CBS 13's Marissa Bodner, who spoke with Sanborn just moments after his release.
That's right, Kim and Greg. You know, earlier today we saw Tony Sanborn leave the courthouse in jail clothes. Tonight we watched him leave the jail wearing a suit. That's after he posted $25,000 cash bail. He seemed very overwhelmed, but also relieved. This is clearly a moment he's been thinking about for decades. The 44-year-old was greeted outside by dozens of family and friends. He's long maintained his innocence, saying he did not commit the 1989 murder of Jessica Briggs. Today, a judge ordered he be freed on bail after the state's star witness from 1992 got back on the stand, claiming she was threatened by investigators and never actually saw the crime. Like you said, we caught up with Sanborn just minutes after his release. Here's what he had to say.
Just happy to be home, and you know, it's almost justice, but it's a good feeling. But thank you guys for the support that you gave while I was sitting in there. That was an inspiration, because I didn't have much hope in people, and now I do. So thank you, Channel 13 especially, for...
Where are you headed right now? What's the first thing you want to go do?
There's so many things, I don't know, but thank you.
Sanborn says he is at least one step closer to clearing his name. No word on exactly where he was headed from jail, but we're told he will be living in Westbrook with his wife as his case continues to be reviewed by the courts. For now, outside the Cumberland County Jail, Marissa Bodner, CBS 13 News. Back to you.
All right, Marissa. And inside the courtroom today, Anthony Sanborn was moved to tears as the judge granted him that bail. And so were his family members, who say they never gave up hope. CBS 13's Dan Lamparello is live outside of the Cumberland County Courthouse right now with what happened there inside today, Dan.
Well, Greg, Anthony Sanborn walked into a crowded courtroom today filled with his supporters who say they are happy they were finally able to plead his case and possibly free him. Anthony Sanborn walks into a standing room only courtroom, moved to tears by support.
I think justice has been done. And
Sanborn's attorneys outlined their petition, saying there was no evidence linking him to the crime he was convicted of in 1989, saying the state's case was completely circumstantial.
This has been an abhorrent miscarriage of justice, and that guy deserves to be free because he's innocent.
The defense even brought in the state's star witness from '89, Hope Cady, who reversed the damning testimony she gave 25 years ago that identified Sanborn as Briggs' killer.
Do you have any knowledge other than what state actors told you that Tony Sanborn killed Jessica Briggs? Do you have any independent knowledge of that? No.
Cady also said she was instructed by detectives on how to testify. After that, the judge granted Sanborn his request.
There is a reasonable likelihood that you will succeed on the petition, and I am going to set bail.
Outside the courthouse, his family says they're one step closer to getting his name cleared.
I just want my life back. I just want all of our lives back. And I just thank Justice Wheeler for being a woman of compassion and for doing the right thing and giving me faith in our system.
I always kept it in the back of my mind that there'd always be a day that he'd be coming home. And he is coming home.
Now another hearing is scheduled for later this month for Sanborn and to them so they can actually look at this petition once again. Until then, he's not allowed to have any contact with the victim's family, and he's not allowed to leave the state of Maine. In Portland tonight, Dan Lamparello, CBS 13 News. Back to you.
An historic day in court to be sure, Dan. Meantime, the Maine Attorney General's office did put out a statement saying, quote, "We are still analyzing all the claims made in Mr. Sanborn's petition and request for bail. We look forward to litigating Mr. Sanborn's claims in court. It is a highly unusual step to admit a person to bail after being convicted of murder. Whether Mr. Sanborn receives a new trial will depend on an assessment of all of the evidence, and we look forward to that thorough review."
CBS 13 has complete team coverage of this major development. The I-Team's John Chrysos tracked down the original case documents and spent the afternoon digging through them. And John, some surprising new details and allegations in this case that went to court way back in 1992.
And Kim, this is a massive filing here in this case. It is 3 volumes, in fact, at the Cumberland County Courthouse. But Sanborn's defense team says what's not in those files is what shows clear misconduct by the state prosecutor and detectives. This is what the state's case, nearly 3 decades old, against Sanborn looks like. There's the history, the indictment, appeal, and some transcripts. What's not in the old files, some 1990 witness statements, part of police records, but not in court and never sent to the defense. A handwritten note seen here, statements not sent as discovery per request of Detective Young. Sanborn's lawyer says this is proof the state suppressed information that should have been turned over. Documents from 25 years ago also suggest the state knew their star witness, Hope Cady, had a serious vision problem and didn't disclose that to the defense team. And just unsealed late this afternoon, signed documents from 2 other witnesses say they also lied during the trial because they were pressured and told what to say by the prosecutor and detectives. Now, both detectives involved deny any wrongdoing in this case or any misconduct. They say they acted truthfully and professionally, and everything that they presented was factual. In fact, Detective Young went on to say he's offended by the insinuation that he suppressed anything. As for the original prosecutor in this case, Pam Ames, she is now a defense attorney in the Waterville area. I called her office twice, and both times her secretary hung up on me when I asked to speak with Ms. Ames. Reporting in Portland tonight, John Chrysos, CBS 13 News.
Nicholas Trout was one of the few people to defend Sanborn during that original trial. Trout spoke to CBS 13 after the judge granted his bail today, saying he met Sanborn while volunteering at the Maine Youth Center and always maintained the young man's innocence. Trout says what he saw during the trial was a teenage boy who was, quote, victimized by the court system.
It really bothers me, and again, it's not about me, it's about all Mainers. And all human beings in America. It's just, we can't have a court system that victimizes people and throws them in prison and just shuts the door when it's obviously not right.
It went on to say he trusts Sanborn so much he would let the man watch his kids, unquote. CBS 13 will continue to follow this case as it develops in the coming days and months.